What we're all here to discuss about today, our passions and what our interests are and things we want to accomplish in 2019.
Again, my name is Maribel. So my personal goal for the year resolution kind of intertwines with the social impact goal. And I'll start with that one because it's so important. I'm trying to have an environmental resolution. And I have a couple of steps in what that looks like, but the first step was becoming vegetarian.
My objective for 2019 is to run more events for the Humanity Hub. This is a not-for-profit thing we do, is how we can really bring back individuals to the basics of communication, face-to-face communication, instead of using third parties for us to decide on anything. Really, we have to go back to the basics of communication and knowing people as much as possible instead of relying on social media for us to get to know individuals. That really social impact starts from a locality, from one place, and then you do it and you move from one place to another, then to another. And that's how things should be worked on. And so what happens here in DC is different than what's happening in New Jersey, in Chicago, in New York, let alone once you start going on an international level. And the social impact should start from a local perspective, understand more what goes on, understand the issues, understand the culture, and then move with it. And this is how you are able to create an impact.
So my big kind of goal of this year overlaps in a few different areas, but and so I've been thinking a lot about kind of like my mission, my purpose statement. We actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Deanna Singh, but she's like a kind of social impact change agent, and she has a really good relationship with the program that I'm in. So she came and talked to us about this idea of like establishing your mission early and using it as a way to make decisions, almost like if you're really on the fence about something and you're not sure and you're having a hard time making a decision, seeing how things relate back to your mission. So I've been kind of like playing around with some different things and what I actually want my purpose statement to be. And so one of my like first goals for the year is to really like solidify that, because right now I have like a lot of different things that I'm interested in and like a lot of different topics that I've studied and I'd be happy working in, but figuring out like exactly what words I want to say are the words that I can like use in the future to make decisions. So I'm kind of interested in the intersection between like refugee and kind of immigration migration issues, and then like gender and economic development, which has always sort of been my interest. And so I didn't always think that those areas were like super intensely intertwined, like they don't necessarily seem like they would be, but there's actually a lot of programs that are being done right now kind of in the overlap of those, like especially in terms of kind of like women's economic empowerment in refugee communities and like financial literacy type stuff. So I've actually found quite a few programs that are focusing on that, and so I'm really trying to kind of explore that field as well.
I am really interested in education, especially education inequalities. So I'm really passionate about being able to bridge the gap between people who do have influence, who have the most influence in their local communities, and maybe people who may not have as much influence, using the power of information to bridge the gap between the two different types of groups.
The 2019 social impact goal is to do virtual volunteering for upcoming nonprofits. They do not have the ability and capacity to pay for full-time employees in the areas of HR, finance, or technology, or any technical field. So I'm planning to work as a HR consultant for upcoming nonprofits to various foundations like Taproot Foundation, Catch a Fire. That's my long-term goal.
My social impact related goals are, well, number one, I want to start working on and decide upon like a couple of possible solutions to the problem that there is currently no industry standard for quantifying social impact, and that especially for social entrepreneurs and nonprofits, it becomes really difficult to secure funding, especially at early stage, as compared to like a for-profit, a completely different for-profit startup, for example. So having industry standard would be really important, especially.
You should check out the Impact Genome Project because you have already.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because they seek to standardize impact metrics, and the CEO who had created that, he wrote a book on particularly on why nonprofits are struggling getting funding, because I mean they're very, very much reliant on donations, right? But at the end of the day, he is saying that you should re-strategize your efforts and sell your impact.